Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. It's Wednesday, the 31st of May, and we have Lee Kian Soon, CEO of Astral Asset Management, coming to us out of Singapore as our guest today. Now, Kian Soon, as always, great to have you on the show.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now, before we get your insights, Kian Soon, we're going to take a look at how regional markets have performed. We start, however, with crypto markets. Bitcoin is at 27,332. It's down 1.6%. Ethereum is at 1,879. It's down 1%. Now, if we look across to regional stock markets, we start where you're at, Kian Soon. The SGX is down 0.59%. Bursa Malaysia is down 0.26%. Shanghai is down 0.83%. The ASX All Ordinaries is down 1.21%. The Nikkei is down 1.5%. The Hang Seng is down 2.4%. Rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is down 0.11%. Kian Soon, it's a sea of red. Tell us why.
Totally agree. A sea of rates. I guess there are two main drivers for the sea of rates. Number one, the US people, the investors are still worried that the debt ceiling and debt trippers has not been settled. This has been pointing to good developments recently. But as of last evening, the market turns AG again. As in whether they're going to make it on time. And the second bad news is really because of the slowdown and the economic data that is coming out of China. Investors in the market are worried about the recovery. The China recovery story has been in the euphoria stage in early part of this year, and unfortunately the numbers are coming out much lower than anticipated, and that's why there's a concern about if the recovery is actually going to take place.
Now, Kian Soon, on a different note, I think we want to take a look at China and AI. Now, obviously, China needs its own AI because it's kind of playing catch up to the US companies. Why is that so? Because particularly now that we've got this dichotomy between China tech and US tech.
Right, it's clear cut that I think the Chinese government will support its own big tech players to develop its own set of AI. Simply because one can imagine if you cannot even share, the global supplies of semicon chips, you are very unlikely to share, the data and your artificial intelligence engines globally, like what we used to enjoy, right? We are going to experience a multipolar world, and I think the Chinese, upon discovering what ChatGPT has, achieved since its launch last year, are now all busily playing catch up. The big tech boys, as in BAT, right, are all trying to develop these engines, and I would say, they are right on the heels, trying to get, into this space as soon as possible.
This is not new technology, though. So I think that one of the key challenges is how fast they're going to bridge the gap. And the Chinese have been proving time and time again that they've been able to narrow the gap very, very quickly.
So in my perspective, there are two elements that the Chinese will have to look at in order to narrow the gap, to play catch up. I think the first one will be the regulatory concerns. Previously, as we've seen with the e-commerce space, this wasn't a problem because the government has actually adopted the let the flower 1,000 flowers blossom, and we'll see how. But a string of regulatory limitations and challenges have been implemented since before COVID, during COVID, and that has actually affects I would say the confidence as well as what the government will actually do, because artificial intelligence does require tons and tons of data. I mean, public data, and you need this data in order to train the machines. Without the data, the machines is as good as it's not going to be very strong or powerful like what we have seen in the West. The second element, I think, that will drive the speed of the AI development in China is actually having access to hardware. And in this case, as we have seen in the recent NVIDIA share prices, having access to graphics processing power would be a key thing that everybody will look at. At the present moment, I don't think there's any curbs on all these hardwares. But hey, when the crunch comes, right? Who knows whether there will be more interesting curbs on graphics cards as well as graphics processing power, and that could potentially slow down development of artificial intelligence in China, because hardware access is a key element of success.
So, Kian Soon, how do we play this wave of AI as an investor? Where should we be putting our money?
I think it's as a investors on the street, it's really tough because we are at the initial stage, right? Where many players are getting into the play. I mean, so far, I think the clear beneficiary would have been Microsoft. Google is playing catch up with their own engines, and as you could see, with the US big techs, the recent rally centers actually, the rally in S&P 500 is actually driven by 5 companies alone, right? Apple, Amazon, and then you have Microsoft, you have Nvidia, right? 5 companies driving the whole S&P 500, 95% of the earnings, right, as reported by Fortune. As you can see, the winners tends to benefit the most. And in this case, a lot of time winners take all. I think it's early stage yet for the Chinese side, but rest assured, right? The one that actually has the most resources from the China side would have been the tech giants themselves. I'm referring to Baidu, I'm referring to Ali as well as Tencent. They will be leading and they will have more access to resources. But usually when it comes to a new development like AI and all this, you might be surprised to find that it is actually an emerging and a much smaller player that is going to grab the attention with their innovation and as well as with their technology breakthrough. I think it's early days. Even the technology itself, the way that data is being analyzed, being studied, there are a lot of key directions that could evolve in the coming years. So my advice would be stay tuned.
So, and we have more on this tonight at 8 p.m. where we have our show Inside Trading. We talk about AI and also how to make money from trading on AI. Kian Soon, thank you very much for coming on the show and thanks a lot for your insights.
You're most welcome.
Now, we've been speaking to Lee Kian Soon, the CEO of Astral Asset Management, coming to us out of Singapore on BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Check out this show on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks for tuning in.